I'm James Brown, and I'm a little skeptical. In the latest wave of podcast consolidation, music streaming service Spotify is on the verge of purchasing The Ringer. That's a sports and pop culture focused website founded and run by ex-ESPN star Bill Simmons. It's been around since 2006. The Wall Street Journal says the two companies have been in talks for a purchase or an agreement since October. The Ringer made its name through a reboot of Bill Simmons' popular podcast and a bevy of sports and pop culture fare, including a network of more than 30 podcasts and a robust video production arm. When Simmons spoke to Recode at its Code 17 media conference a year after the Ringer debut, it was clear that his dilemma was making more money.
We had some holes we had to figure out. We wanted to build our own site. We had to figure out the amount of resources and money that it would take to do that and do it correctly, and the weight that it would put on our staff, trying to figure out what should be here, what should be there, all that stuff. You know, it was ambitious, it was expensive. We would have to build a sales team too. We had the money to do all that, but the question for us is that the best use of what we want to do for these next 2 years? We want to concentrate on creating content, finding talent, and working with the talent we have. And we just felt like it made so much sense for us, and I think for Vox too, to kind of team up and figure out, could we partner up? They have the infrastructure. They have Chorus, which is, I think, the best web platform there is right now. And could we use that platform? Could we use their sales team and make more money than we were making from the website? Because the way if you're going to have a multimedia business now, you have to be able to sell yourself in a bunch of different ways. Like, you just can't, words aren't going to work. Like, you have to have 9 different things. Podcasts have been really successful for us. But, you know, the website is the soul of the site. It's where the ideas and the talent, for the most part, are. And we just felt like, all right, can we leverage that a little bit? Does it make it easier for us to do all the other things we want to do?
Adding Spotify to the Ringer's mix sounds eerily similar to working with Vox. Simmons already has a relationship with the music streamer. He hosts a Spotify exclusive show called The Hottest Take there. And shortly after she was hired, Spotify's first chief content officer, Don Ostroff, told the Kindred Cast that her marching orders are to expand the company's podcast footprint.
When Daniel and I spoke about all of this early on, he said, you know, we're still in the early innings. This is still like in inning 2 or in inning 3, and we have a long way to go.
Because he views it as a platform, not just as a music streaming service. Exactly.
It is a platform. Growing the platform and getting the most amount of users to be able to offer the content choices to, and having, you know, as many artists and creators on the platform as possible is one of the big mandates. And so it's, how do you have the most amount of creators on the platform reaching the most amount of consumers and be able to connect them so that everybody finds ways in which they can discover incredible content, music, audio, and ultimately video. And then also, how are you able to create a platform for creators where they're able to reach the consumer in ways they never would have been able to?
If the deal goes through, it'll be the latest in a number of podcast talent and corporate acquisitions by Spotify under Ostroff. Exclusives from Joe Budden, Amy Schumer, and Jamel Hill, and $400 million of purchases buying 3 podcast companies, Gimlet Media, Anchor FM, and Paracast. On that note, I'm James Brown, and I bid you good night. Thank you for listening to A Little Skeptical. You can leave me a voicemail or send me a message at alittleskeptical.com. You can also find back episodes there and more about me. You can find me on social media at James Brown TV everywhere. You can also find the show at A Skeptical Show everywhere.